Welcome back to another powerful episode of Morpheus Crypto. In our last video, we highlighted that both Bitcoin and Ethereum had found support at their 50-day moving averages, sparking hope for a potential rally. However, the 50-day moving averages could not keep prices afloat, and we experienced a sharp plunge lower after Bitcoin and Ethereum formed bear flag patterns at their lows. Now, in a resilient move, the king and queen of crypto, Bitcoin and Ethereum, mounted encouraging bullish reversal patterns on August 1st. However, as you can see, the bears quickly resumed control, causing their reversal attempt to fail miserably and slide back below the 50-day moving average. Now, Bitcoin has once again formed another bullish reversal bar after testing support of its prior swing low. Will Bitcoin stand its ground this time as it tests key resistance? In this video, we analyze a few key charts that may shed some light on that question. As usual, we also alert you to the top relative strength cryptos on our radar, which may soon offer you profitable swing trading opportunities. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay informed on all of our exciting crypto updates. And let's go ahead and dive in. In our last video analysis of Bitcoin, Bitcoin had broken below its consolidation base on July 24th and came into support of its 50-day moving average. Now, often the 50-day moving average acts as a buy point for institutions and other investors because it's a reliable indicator of intermediate term trend. In this case, we did not see the typical buying. Instead, the price barely found support, wasn't able to get much of a rally attempt going, and after riding on that 50-day moving average for about 5 days, the bears won and the price broke down. So when you see a key moving average such as a 50-day moving average fail, often that's followed within a short period later by a sharp sell-off. And that's actually what we had. It doesn't look like it here because we had a reversal the same day, but that morning of August 1st, or actually it was late overnight, we dipped all the way down. The price went, Bitcoin went all the way down to 28,700 area, which means it undercut this prior low. So it was a very big washout there that ran a lot of stops, but the bulls stepped in and bought that and reversed, and the price action closed at the high of the day. And not only that, the price closed back above the 50-day moving average. So that was actually going into the close of that day. It was a very bullish price action that often you would expect to see follow through and continuation on, which is why it was rather surprising the next day when we had a sharp rally in the morning and then massive selling throughout the day, and the breakout completely failed, causing the price to come back down below the 50-day moving average on even higher volume than the day before, which is bearish. So there was some very interesting price action in the market recently, and it's kept the bulls and bears both on their toes in terms of swing trading. It's been a challenging market. We recently shifted to cash in the Morpheus Crypto portfolio just because of the choppy market conditions and the lack of follow through in all the buy setups. But the potentially good news here is that we have another bullish reversal bar that just formed yesterday in Bitcoin, August 7th. And we basically tested, didn't quite come down all the way to the low of August 1st, but formed a slightly higher low above that level. So that low held, which is very important because a breakdown below that low of that reversal bar would have been pretty bearish. So we got a reversal. Again, the bulls stepped in and the price finished up the day right at the 10-day moving average, this green line. And then today, so far, we've popped through this 10-day moving average, and now we're back above the 20-day moving average as well. Notice the last time we had this rally attempt a week ago, that's where the price action stalled, was we probed above this 20-day moving average for a little bit and then came back in. So far today, we do have a bit of a pullback going in the market, but that could also be attributed to this downtrend line that's developed. So you see that there was some resistance there, convergence of the upper channel downtrend line plus horizontal price resistance. So that 29,500 level is a pretty significant short-term resistance level that's currently in play. But this time so far, Bitcoin is holding up better than last week's rally attempt. So time will tell what develops there. But sometimes when you get some mixed signals like this, you've got a test of resistance and potentially forming a double bottoming pattern. What's helpful sometimes is to zoom out to the longer term chart and look at the weekly chart. So if we look at the weekly time frame of Bitcoin, we can see that the Bitcoin back in June had that big rally that 1 week, consolidated in a tight range for more than a month, and then just recently, towards the end of July, we broke down below that consolidation. But even though we broke below that consolidation, notice that the price action has come into support of both the 10 and 20-week moving averages. And that's important because those are key levels of intermediate to long-term trend. Notice here, as we've annotated, the 28,600 level is currently the 20-week moving average, with the 10-week moving average just above that, around 29,100. So currently, with Bitcoin bouncing off of that last week and holding again this week, we could stage a rally attempt. Notice how Bitcoin is now rallying right up against resistance of that downtrend line that's formed from the highs of 5 weeks ago. So a breakout above that level would be bullish. So watch the 28,600 level as key support. If Bitcoin does break out above this downtrend line, note that we're going to find a bit of resistance at the 30,000 level, which is a major level of psychological resistance. Overall, yesterday's bullish reversal candle, known as a hammer candlestick, was encouraging, and it's also positive that Bitcoin is following through today. If we do get a breakout above this downtrend line, that's going to be above the 29,500 level. And that's where things could start to get interesting and the market could heat up. Yesterday, when Bitcoin formed a higher low, Ethereum actually undercut the lows of its recent trading range and formed a lower low, a lower swing low. And it did reverse back above that level to finish the day. But notice that it was actually showing relative weakness to Bitcoin. Unlike Bitcoin, it did not form a bullish hammer candlestick. It kind of formed more of a spinning top on higher volume. So a little more indecision. And notice that the 10-day moving average firmly acted as resistance for Ethereum in yesterday's rally attempt. And now, today, we've got a little bit of strength. We've got another rally attempt going in Ethereum. And we're now testing resistance of this downtrend line that's anchored by 3 points. And if we get above this downtrend line, then that would mean a breakout above the 10-day moving average with the 20-day moving average just above. So if we get above, like, let's say the 1860 level, there's more resistance at 1880, and then we could see, momentum start to kick in. But, Ethereum is really at a critical level, similar to Bitcoin, because a failure to break out above this downtrend line could lead to another test of the swing lows. So obviously the 1800 level is a key level of technical and psychological price support. We always want to closely monitor the price action of Ethereum as a general indicator of the altcoin market's health. So that being the case, let's go ahead now and dive into a few altcoins that are on our radar, showing relative strength and patterns that could lead to potential opportunities for swing trade entry in the coming days. Solana, SOL, is a large cap blockchain crypto that is very well known and has been a former leader in the 2021 bull market. And it started to show relative strength again last month when Solana broke out and had a very strong rally from $18 all the way up to a high of just over $32, nearly doubling throughout the month of July. And notice how the volume surged higher. So there was definitely a lot of accumulation in SOL last month. And after peaking, SOL began to enter into a nice, healthy correction and trending lower, and found support last week after undercutting its prior low when the Ethereum reversal failed on August 2nd. It undercut its low, but it found support right at 2234. And we've got the rising 50-day moving average rising up to meet that horizontal support as well. And now Solana is actually testing for a potential breakout above this downtrend line from the highs. I realize it's not connecting the absolute high, but you can see it's a valid trend line because of all the numerous anchor points that it has. So this is a key trend line to watch. And notice that the downtrend line converges with the 10-day moving average, the green line. And we often do see downtrend lines converge with moving averages. And when you have that type of scenario, that means that a breakout above that level becomes all the more significant. However, keep in mind that there is resistance of the 20-day moving average right around $24, as well as yesterday's high around $23.60. So we'd want to see the price action get above the $24 level before we'd look for entry. And one thing we really like about SOL is the risk reward. Risk reward means how much are you risking on a trade if you get stopped out versus what your potential reward is on the upside. And we like to see a bare minimum of 2 to 1, meaning that the potential reward for a winning trade is twice as large as the risk. With the potential buy entry above the $24 level, we could set a stop below the low of this range, which is a valid stop for a swing trade setup. And that would mean that the price would also break below the 50-day moving average. So there's a lot of support there, and we'd be risking about 2 points if the trade stopped out from an entry $24 So a little less than a 10% stop. However, the potential reward as a swing trade is that if we held this several weeks, if this uptrend continues based on last month's accumulation and high volume, and notice the lighter volume on the pullback, that's what you want to see, lighter volume in the pullback, higher volume on the way up. This tells us that if Ethereum catches a bid and the market continues to improve, we do expect Sol to have the potential to be a leader in the next bull market for altcoins. So keep an eye on SOL. As always, we will notify members of Morpheus Crypto if we spot a valid reentry point in SOL. We'll send you a trade alert with full details, including our stop. In our last video, we highlighted Chainlink, LINK, as one of the top relative strength cryptos in the market after having a massive volume breakout on July 20th. Since then, Link has been in a pullback that has formed a short-term downtrend line. And initially back on August 1st, when we had the bullish reversal, Link tried to undercut its 20-day moving average and hold above it, but it failed along with the rest of the market and did break convincingly below the 20-day moving average. But notice that Link is still above the 50-day moving average and seems to have found support around the $7 level. And now Link is currently trying to break out above its 10-day moving average and downtrend line. So this is on our radar. If it gets above this downtrend line, which is basically above today's high, above the 747 level, it would be of potential interest. Although keep in mind, there is a 20-day moving average at 759. Again, if we do decide to enter Link, we will send a trade alert to members of Morpheus Crypto. Last up is Ripple, XRP. As you may be aware, last month, Ripple doubled in one day upon news that a federal judge had initially sided with XRP in the lawsuit versus the SEC. Since then, the price action has been correcting lower and initially held support for quite a while at 67 cents. And then with last week's weakness in the rest of the market, when Ethereum failed its bullish reversal, XRP broke down below that range. And more importantly, the price action is bouncing off the 50-day moving average. And we do have some resistance at the 10-day moving average, which is currently converging with that downtrend line right around 66 cents. So before we would consider this for swing entry, we'd want to see it get back above that downtrend line and 10-day moving average convergence. Also, we're keeping an eye on volume. We'd want to see volume confirm the move with a volume spike higher. Now, a more aggressive entry rather than waiting for a move above the 10-day moving average and downtrend line would be to get a partial position size above the 4-day high around 64 cents. But we personally would rather pay a little bit higher price in return for a higher odds of the trade working out, especially given the fact that right now, most of the strength in the market is being led by Bitcoin itself, and that may be the case for a while. Keep an eye on SOL as a potential buy entry in the coming days. It's one of the top picks on our radar, as well as LINK. We hope you enjoyed today's video. If you want to find out more about our crypto trading services, head on over to morpheustrading.com and click on Crypto Picks to find out more. We'll see you in the next episode of Morpheus Crypto. Drop your comment below. Let us know what you think or if you've got any input on our picks today.